Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. We have another segment of All Day. I'm going to need you all to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to keep pushing out content, keep pushing out better high-quality content for you. Let's get into it. This is going to be my NFL Week 8 recap. I'm going to go over my predictions that I did and see which ones I was right, which ones I was wrong, and then I'll give the record towards the end of the ones I was right on, the teams that I was right on, and the teams that I was wrong on, the games. All right, let's get going. So I said the Vikings was going to beat the Rams 36-27, and the Vikings actually lost to the Rams let me see. $20-30. So I was wrong on that one. It was a 10-point game, 10-point deficit, but well, for me it was 11 points because I said the Vikings was going to win 36-27, but the Rams beat them 30-20. But that was a pretty good game. I mean, the game was fairly close throughout the game, but I mean, and how the game was playing, it looked like the Vikings was actually going to win. They could have won that game, but the Rams actually just came on top. And it's unfortunate, the missed face mask call on Sam Darnold. It could have been interesting to see what the Vikings could have done with that. They was down by 8 points. They could have scored a touchdown. Could have went for a 2-pointer. And they probably could have beat it would have beat the Rams if that would have happened. It would have just been interesting to see if Sam Darnold would have been able to drive them all across the field, and score with Justin Jefferson right there on. But it's annoying dealing with these referees, missed calls, bad calls, questionable calls. It's annoying. But yeah, so I was wrong on that one. So yeah. But so I said the Houston Texans was going to beat the Colts 24-14. And the Houston Texans did beat the Colts 23-20. So I was fairly close. I mean, I was 1 point off by the Houston Texans. I said they was going to put up 24 points. They put up 23 points. And the Colts, they put up more points than what I thought they was going to put up. They put up 20. And yeah, so yeah, Colts put up 14. So I mean, I put a little bit too much faith in the Houston Texans defense and a little lesser faith in the Colts offense, but football is complimentary. So the Colts they try to put up a little bit of a fight. So yes, I was right on that one. And then so we have the Green Bay Packers against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I said that Green Bay was going to beat Jacksonville 30-19, and let's see here. Green Bay beat them 30-27. So again, I put a little bit too much faith in Green Bay's defense and a little lesser faith into Jacksonville's offense. So Jacksonville, I was actually rewatching that game yesterday, and I'm gonna watch some more of it today. I go back when I watch these games, just so I can be more familiar with these players, the coaches, see how they play, because I'm not watching every single game on Sunday. So throughout the week, I'm only watching maybe a total of 4 games, 4 games in the morning, the first few the early games, and then another 4 games in the afternoon. Sometimes it's only playing 2 games, and then of course Sunday night football, and then Monday night football. And we got Thursday, but I'm pretty much watching football every day. I'm watching football every day, listening to commentary every day, studying coaching every day. So I can get more familiar and better with this. I mean, football's been a part of my life pretty much since I've been maybe 14. Yeah, since I've been 14 years old. I'm 34 now. But I don't know everything about football. I've only studied 2 positions throughout the entire 20-year span. So I mean, now that I want to get into coaching and I want to be a head coach one day, I'm studying the entire game as a whole. special teams, offensive lineman, defensive lineman. I want to study. I want to know all of it. I want to know about everything. So that's why I create this channel. But let's see. I said so. Yeah, Green Bay. Yeah, so Green Bay still won, but I was wrong on how many points Jacksonville was going to put up. So I was kind of wrong on the score. So, but I was right on with how many points Green Bay was going to put up. So I was spot on with that. They said Green Bay was going to put up 30. They put up 30. Probably just should have put a little more faith in Jacksonville's offense. Now I said Atlanta was going to beat Tampa Bay for the second time in a row, and then if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, if they would have started, I probably would have chose Tampa Bay, but I just knew Tampa, like, it would have been too much on Baker Mayfield and for them to try to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Even though they were playing at home, Atlanta is a really, really good team. Even though they didn't play well the previous week, and Kirk Cousins didn't play well, but I knew they were going to match up well against Tampa Bay, and even with especially with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out, and so I knew Baker Mayfield wasn't going to be hot. He actually surprisingly did play pretty well, minus Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He did play pretty good. So I have to give that to him. I have to give that to Baker Mayfield. So, I don't, like I told you guys before in the last video, I don't have a lot of faith in Baker Mayfield. I don't want to say I don't think he's all that good. I just don't think, like I said before, I don't think he's as good as people try to say he is. He's a good quarterback, man. He's a good quarterback. He makes plays. He doesn't put his team in a position to lose. If he has good coaching, if you surround him with the good supporting cast, he's going to make plays. He's going to help you win games. That's what he is going to do. That he's not the type of quarterback that I would say, I would never put him in my top 5. I'll never put him in my top 10. I can see Baker Mayfield being top 15 quarterback. He could definitely be a top 15. He's not the guy. He's not the elite quarterback that will make everybody around him better. There's only so many quarterbacks that does that anyway. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. I wonder, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't really know if Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen kind of makes people around them better. They make plays, and they do win games, which they don't really win playoff games that much. And so that's my kickback on Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Justin Herbert is younger than both of them. A lot of people knock Justin Herbert. He doesn't want to play playoff game. They don't win games. But they both have good coaches. They both have better complementary. They both have coaches that complements them. And these coaches been their coach for a while, and they both are a part of really great organizations as well. So that that's the thing that people have to take into consideration. And you look at Justin Herbert now. He's part of a better organization, great coach. And he's playing very well. He only has 1 pick this year. And when they started putting the offense more in his hands, he has been snapping off. He could be 2-0 right now with them putting the offense in his hands. But we lost to Arizona because, our receivers making terrible mistakes, during the Arizona game. And then our defense is somehow surprisingly not being able to contain James Conner. But those two things should have been taken care of. We would have came on top 2-0. Justin Herbert would have been 2-0 with a good complimentary coach. He's snapping off. He tore up the Saints defense and passing defense, and he done that with a rookie wide receiver, and some other knockoff wide receivers who probably would not have played well on any other team. And look at what Mike Williams. Mike Williams, he played very well with Justin Herbert, and he's not playing that well now, and he's hardly even stepping in the field in New York. So, Keenan Allen is doing pretty well. I had a lot of faith in Caleb Williams anyway. So I figured Caleb Williams was going to do well with Keenan Allen. But Keenan Allen is the type of receiver that I believe that can play well anywhere in any system. I think that highly of Keenan Allen. But Keenan Allen had his best season, his entire career last year. Justin Herbert lit it up. And Justin Herbert didn't even finish the entire season. He didn't even finish the entire season, and he lit it up with Keenan Allen last year. You know, so I mean, come on, man. You know, you guys are gonna understand where I'm coming from with Justin Herbert. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL, but him and Patrick Mahomes are the only two quarterbacks that I can think of. And Matthew Stafford, I would say Matthew Stafford as well. Yeah, those three are the only three quarterbacks that I can think of right now from the top of my head in the NFL today that makes everyone around them better. Literally. It's like you're gonna give them any kind of receivers. They're going to launch that ball. They're going to place it. They're going to put the beautiful touch on it, and they're going to make plays for those receivers to shine. You know, so those they're really great at that. You know, so I'm going to move on. Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay. Oh yeah, I said that already. 22. I said they're 22-12, and so Atlanta. Come on, I took a screenshot of all the games, but I don't see all of them. So some of these I have to look up. My fault. So I'm gonna have to look this up. Atlanta. I know Atlanta won, but I don't know what the score was. Let's see here. So Atlanta beat Tampa Bay 31-26. So I was kind of off on the scoring, but I was still right about the win. So Atlanta did beat Tampa Bay, but they beat them 31-26. I said Tampa Bay was only going to put up 12 points. I didn't have that much faith in Baker Mayfield at all. But I'm glad he proved me wrong. I mean, he played well, so he played well. That's great. So Arizona Cardinals against Miami. I said Arizona was going to blow out Miami 40-16. I don't think they blew them out. I was watching this game yesterday. I was watching a little bit of it yesterday. I watched it up to the second quarter. So I need to watch some more of this game because I wanted to see, you know, how Tua was going to play, you know, and everything. Oh, wow. 28-27. Yeah, I did see the end of that. Yeah, 28-27. I think Arizona came back because I think when I was watching it in the second quarter, they were down by 10 points in the first quarter. So it's pretty cool they came back on them. So, you know, what's his name did well. Tua, it seems like Tua played pretty well. I'm gonna watch some more. I'm gonna watch some more of that game today actually. But that's cool. Okay, put up some points against Arizona. But it was way off on the score. I was right about the win. New England against the Jets. This was one of my bold predictions actually. Yeah, I don't think anybody saw New England beating the Jets, but they did. And I predicted New England to beat the Jets. I said they was going to beat the Jets 19-10. And this was another game that I didn't get a chance to really watch. I didn't watch any of this game. And I do need to check this game out too. But the score... Oh, man, I didn't have this screenshot either. Dang, okay. So I'm going to have to look this up. So, let's see what the score was. Let's see here. Anytime now. What was the score? Okay. So, New England beat the Jets 25-22. So that's really interesting. They put up that many points on New England. On the Jets. So, yeah, pretty close game. I thought it was going to be a close game. The points scored surprised me a little bit. But, yeah, okay. So, I mean, I think Drake May got hurt. So, it could have been worse for the Jets. It really could have been. But, hey. It's good for New England, terrible for the Jets. And it looks like the Jets, I see the Jets losing tonight. Tonight's Thursday night football. I'm going to have to do another video today after this for my Thursday night football predictions. Happy Halloween. And yeah, I'm letting y'all know right now. Obviously, I don't think anybody's picking the Jets to beat the Houston Texans at all. I don't think anybody's picking that, and I'm definitely not picking that. And even though with me, I love doing bold predictions, I'm definitely not going to waste a bold prediction on the Jets. Damn sure not doing to do that. But anyway, let's move on. So I got the Tennessee Titans against the Detroit Lions. This was another one of my bold predictions. Well, I don't really think this could be a bold prediction because I think anybody would have thought that the Lions could blow out Tennessee. So I'm not going to give myself credit on that one. I'm not. It's not a bold prediction. It's obvious that Detroit was going to blow out Tennessee. But I was right. I'm still going to give myself credit on that because it's any given Sunday. Any team can lose, no matter what. So you still get the credit for that. But what was the score? Let's see how close I was with the score. I said Detroit was going to beat them 55-10. Let's see here. Oh man, I should have took more. I only took screenshots of certain games, so now I have to actually look them up. Wow. I was very, very close. I was extremely close. I was 3 points off by the Lions, and I was 4 points off by the Titans. So I said 55. I said the Lions was going to win 55-10. They won 52-14. I mean, even though I said I'm not gonna give myself credit about the blowout, I always got to get credit about the points. The points. I mean, I almost hit points spot on. I think that's pretty dope. So, got to give myself credit for that one. You got the Ravens against the Browns. I said the Ravens was going to beat the Browns 33-20. So, I was already wrong about that one. So, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. There was something in me to pick the Browns over the Ravens when I was doing my predictions this past Sunday. Something in my heart was like, that could be another bold prediction, the Browns beating the Ravens. But I just didn't want to do it. I don't know why. I thought about it. But I think the reason why I didn't, because the Browns let me down on my bold prediction of them beating the Bengals. Which that's actually not a bold prediction either, because the Browns, they always play well against the Bengals. So that's not really a bold prediction. But it would have been a bold prediction if I would have stuck with that and I would have said that they was going to beat the Ravens, and I didn't. I didn't go with my heart. My intuition was telling me. It was like, yo, just make them a risk. Just take a risk. Just take a risk that the Browns is going to beat them. I should have listened. So, anyway, I was wrong. It doesn't matter. Nobody knows that I was really feeling that way but me and God. So, yeah. So we're just going to have to go with that. I was wrong. The Ravens, they lost. And I don't know what I can't remember what the score was. I think it was very, very close. Let's see here. Jameis Winston, he played a very good game. Let's see here. Throwing for over 300 yards, and I think he threw for 3 touchdowns. I'm going to look up his stats so I can be correct on that. Let's see, Ravens, Browns. Let's see here. They play again January 5th, just to let you all know. So, they won, the Browns won 29-24. I said they were going to lose 33-20. Okay. So, I was wrong on that one. So, my record right now is 6-2. Still not bad. Better than all the other weeks. Like a lot of the other weeks I was kind of off. But let's look at the recap. I want to see what Jameis Winston's stats were. Winston throws 3 touchdown passes as Browns stun Jackson. Ravens 29-24 to end 5-game losing streak. During an impassioned, I heard about Jameis Winston's Beautiful speech, pregame speech. He asked his teammates to believe. So I guess they do now because what he did. Winston threw a 38-yard touchdown pass, his third of the game, to Cedric Tillman with 59 seconds left as Cleveland stunned Lamar Jackson. Wow. So they came back and they drove him back. He had a game-winning drive. Stunned Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens 29-24 on Sunday to snap a 5-game losing streak, making his first start in more than 2 years. Wow. And replacing injured starter Deshaun Watson. Winston capped an emotional week for the Browns, 2-6, by leading them to an upset of their AFC North rival. You know, those rival games are always tense. It felt amazing, Winston said, who passed for 334 yards. Wow. Jackson, he completed 23 of 38 passes for 289 yards and 2 TDs. So Lamar Jackson, he had a pretty good game. So this seems like a pretty entertaining game. I'll probably have to check that game out too. What did Nick Chubb do? Nick Chubb ran for 52 yards in his second game back after suffering a season-ending knee injury in 2023. Okay. So he didn't really do that much. Okay. Yep, okay. Cool. So, we got the Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals. I said the Eagles was going to beat the Bengals by 10 points, 35-25. I know they beat the Bengals, but I can't remember what the score was. Oh, dang, I got to look this one up too. Okay. Let's see here. So, oh man, this was a blowout. So, man, so the Eagles beat the Bengals 37-17. The Bengals was bad, man. I told y'all, man. Like I've been saying it so many times before. Joe Burrow, he's one of my quarterbacks that I feel like that is so overrated. He always gets excuses because he went to the Super Bowl. He took the Bengals to the AFC Championship. Really, what has he done since then? Literally, what has he done? They always start off slow. He doesn't start kicking in until like later on in the season. But he's getting worse and worse every year. And he's healthy this year, so what's the excuse this year? I don't want to hear any more excuses. That's the thing. That's what gets me so upset with you guys, because you guys knock Justin Herbert, but I don't hear anybody knocking Joe Burrow. I don't hear people talking about him because he's not snapping off. But people were trying to talk big about him earlier this year. After his first couple games that he was slow, and then he started throwing for like 500 yards here and there, and it was like he's playing good football. He played good football for 2 weeks, and now for 2 weeks he has been very average. He hasn't even put up 20 points in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think because prior to the Eagles, what did the Bengals do prior to the Eagles game? How many points did they put up? Let's see. Okay, so I was wrong. They won, but they barely won. They put up 21 points, but I think Joe Burrow barely did anything. I don't think he even had I think he only had like 1 touchdown. Let me see. I'm about to look it up because I do remember I predicted them to lose this game. This was when Deshaun Watson got hurt, obviously. And if Deshaun Watson would have stayed healthy, they probably would have beat them because Deshaun Watson was pretty efficient this game. So Joe Burrow was 15-25, 181 yards and 2 TDs. That was a very average game. Extremely average. Jamar Chase had no touchdowns. Who had the touchdowns that game? Oh, yes, he did. I'm looking at rushing. Okay, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase had both had touchdowns. T. Higgins was 4 catches, 82 yards. Jamar Chase had 5 catches, 55 yards. This was when they played the Bengals. I mean, the Browns. So yeah. So he barely did anything against the Bengals. Browns. He did absolutely nothing against. Well, I don't want to say absolutely nothing. Let me see what Joe Burrow did. Let's see here. So he was 26-37, 234 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was completely average. What is Joe Burrow's season stats? He has 15 touchdowns, and most of those is from one game when he snapped off when he was playing against freaking the Ravens. Let's see here. What is this season looking like right now? 15 TDs, 1,993 passing yards, 106.5 quarterback rating. It's whatever. A lot of those stats is from one game. But, okay, let's move on. Like I said, Joe Burrow's a good quarterback. I think he's really good. I think he's great. But I don't think he's like just automatically number 2. And he's definitely not better than Justin Herbert. Would I have him in my top 5? I honestly don't know if I will have Joe Burrow in my top 5. Because is he doing anything better than Brock Purdy, Jared Goff? Is he actually playing better than them? They've done exactly the same thing what Joe Burrow has done. And they actually slightly has done more because they actually both have been in MVP talks. Joe Burrow, from my understanding, has never been in MVP talks. And on top of that, they both stay healthy. And on top of that, they are way more consistent than Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Brock Purdy. I don't know how Joe Burrow looks without his weapons yet. Because if Jamar Chase goes down, he still got T. Higgins. T. Higgins goes down, he still got Jamar Chase. And I've always knew Joe Mixon had a lot to do with that success too. They don't got Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow has played okay. He's snapped off some games, but for the most part of this year, he hasn't really been playing that well. How many interceptions does Joe Burrow has for this year? I think he has probably like 5. Okay. I said a little too much. He has 3. Okay, he has 3 picks. But still, man. Like I said, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm not saying he sucks or anything. I'm just saying he's overrated. He's not. I don't think. I don't know if he would even be in top 5. People are still saying when they talk about the 3 great quarterbacks in the NFL today, like Joe Burrow just automatically just jumps in that, and he's not. He hasn't played well in like 2 years. He really hasn't. He has not really done anything, and he still just gets this pass that he's amongst the elite, and I don't know why. But people are like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. He's always like sweeping in there. No. He's too inconsistent for my taste. And he starts off way too slow. All of the other quarterbacks does that. You can't just automatically just say he's an elite quarterback and be like, yeah, he started slow, now he's great. In the regular season, he's a great quarterback. No. He has to do it game in, game out. Every other quarterback does that. Every other quarterback, they're not starting slow. They might have a little bit of a slump because they're on the entire team, but it's not just they're not starting slow for like the first 4 games of the year or looking terrible. Like Joe Burrow looks terrible in the first few games of the year. They all don't look terrible. So, yeah. Moving on. So I said the Bills was going to beat the Seahawks 27-18. I was right about the win. I can't remember what the score was 31-10. Okay, not too far off. I said 31-10. They won 27-18. Saints Chargers. I said the Chargers was going to beat the Saints 25-10. Justin Herbert played a phenomenal game. Great game. Like I said, he's one of those quarterbacks that makes everything around him better. And he does. Look at Will Disley. I mean, Will Disley is having a career season. You know, so I think it's remarkable what Justin Herbert is doing, and he's not getting enough credit behind it. And I guess it's because the Chargers are, they got to keep winning. They got to have a winning record right now, but they got to keep winning. I feel like if the Chargers really beat the Browns this week, and Justin Herbert has a great game like he did last week, or even better game than he did last week, they're gonna start talking about him. I also feel like a lot of people are tired of always thinking the Chargers is gonna do something, and then when they start betting on the Chargers or looking at the Chargers like, oh, the Chargers can be good, the Chargers fall. So I think people are tired of that. You're always charging, and you're always breaking our heart, and every single time when we give you guys some credit or some press, you guys just suck. You guys start to suck. So you got to show us consistently if you can win game in, game out. So I understand that. So I can't get too upset because I know people are frustrated with cheering for the Chargers or thinking they're going to do something and then they end up not. But my only thing is now this, is that now since Marty Schottenheimer, we have a great coach now. We have a great coach that will change the identity and the culture of the entire franchise or organization. We have that now. So that's why I'm saying it's safe to bet on the Chargers now, because we got a coach who's making us aggressive, tough, mentally tough. Pound for pound, we're going to stay in it. We're not going to give up games. Now I will say this: that Arizona game, it kind of made me feel like an old Charger fan. It kind of made me feel like I was watching an old Charger team, a Charger team with freaking Anthony Lynn or Brandon Staley. It kind of started North Turner. It was making me feel that way. But I liked how we came back. We beat New Orleans. So it is going to take some time, but the time is now. We have to win now because our defense is playing so elite. And history shows that you got a great quarterback you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, which I know Justin Herbert is. You have a Hall of Fame quarterback with a Hall of Fame coach, and you got a great defense, boy. No, you gotta win the Super Bowl. You got to. That's why this is the Chargers' year. They cannot let up on that offense. So, look at the Chiefs, man. That's why they win game like week in, week out. Look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs, Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback, historical defense. They certainly can three-peat. Now, I will be picking the Chiefs if the Chargers get knocked out of the playoffs, or if the Chargers, God forbid, don't make the playoffs this year, which I highly doubt they will. I highly doubt they won't. I do believe the Chargers will make it to the playoffs, but I'm just saying, if somehow the Chiefs are my second team, not second team. Like I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I'm saying like second. They're like my backup team for the Chargers in AFC. I honestly wouldn't know who else to pick in AFC, so yeah. And since I mentioned the AFC, I feel like my backup NFC team, other than the Bears, I would have to go with, I want to go with the Lions, but I don't know, man. The Lions defense kind of questions me. Like, I don't know if the Lions will hold up in the playoffs. Yeah, I would much rather go with Minnesota than the Lions in the playoffs. So I would say my second team behind the Bears, other than the Bears, if the Bears don't win it all, the Bears somehow don't make the playoffs, or if they get kicked out of the playoffs, I will look at the Lions. The Vikings. I would say the Vikings. So it can be a really fun Super Bowl to see the Chiefs and the Vikings, or maybe even the Chiefs and the Lions. You know, but that defense is kind of scares me a little bit. Their defense is not as good as they should be. But we'll see. You got the Rams too, man. Think about the Rams also. And the Rams did beat the Vikings. You know, it will be between the Rams and the Vikings who will be my backup beyond if the Bears doesn't go either way. It would be between the Rams. I already picked the Rams to win their division, so I'm already picking them to go to the playoffs. But it'll be interesting. I'll have to think about that. Probably have to do a video on that. You know, my backup teams other than the Chargers and the Bears, and just do a whole segment of the teams that, you know, teams that are going to go to the playoffs, what teams are going to be which, and then, you know, which teams are going to go to the Super Bowl. Which I already told you, the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Bears. So that'd be kind of interesting. But we got the Saints. Yeah, so I was very, very close to the Saints and the Chargers. I said the Chargers was going to beat the Saints 25-10, and the Chargers beat the Saints 26-8. Man, I was so close. I was so close on the record, on the score on that. Man, I was so close. I was like 2 points off with how many points the Saints put up, and I was 1 point off with the Chargers. 1 point. Bears Commanders. I said the Bears was going to beat the Commanders 27-22. This was a really good game. I mean, both quarterbacks kind of were struggling a little bit throughout the game, especially Caleb Williams. But Caleb Williams popped back up in the fourth quarter. Jayden Daniels was kind of solid throughout, you know, steady throughout. But the Bears had this game won. Everybody knows what happened. I don't really have to say too much what's going on, what happened. We all know what happened here. It was historically disappointing, historically frustrating. Like, bro, I don't even want to go too deep in it, but I played defensive back, and I never made it to the NFL. You know, I tried, and I never even played college ball. I tried walking on at the University of Alabama. You know, I did play a little bit in a pro indoor league, in a arena team in Atlanta. But I sometimes don't understand how some of these guys, they make it to the NFL and they do things that I know to do. You know, and I'm like, bro. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what really be going through these guys' mind sometimes. Some of these guys who makes it pro. You know, and this is the prime example that proves that some people are just fortunate to end up in places where they have no business in being. Now, I'm not saying that defensive back, I can't remember his name. I know it starts with a T. Pretty solid player. Now, I'm not saying he has no business being in the NFL. But there are some guys in the NFL who has no business being there. They're very, very fortunate of being there. They were lucky. You know, I don't really believe in luck, but they were lucky. On the contrary, you know, it ended up being there, you know, and just some guy, when I was even going to Alabama, you know, and I was where my heart is to walk on, it wasn't the skill set that was hurting me, like keeping me back. It was so much, you know, I was a very underdeveloped player, and I was a late bloomer. Like, I started playing football at a later age. I didn't start playing football into high school, and I didn't understand it at all. And me playing football when my grandfather told me to play, you know, it was more like he wasn't forcing me, but he was like, you should play football. I'm like, whoa, what? I never would have thought in a million years that I would play football up to my grandfather telling me I should play. I was terrified out of my mind. I didn't know anything about football. The only thing I knew about football was that what a football looked like. I didn't even Super Bowl. I heard about it, but I didn't even know what the Super Bowl was. I hardly knew anything about football, you know, and so me in high school like that, and going to a school that most high schools in football everybody knows is political. I was so underdeveloped, and so ignorant when it came to that game, and I never played. I never got a chance to play. I never had a coach that helped me to develop. I wanted to. I wanted to be great. I wanted to work hard. Like I was like, and I started watching the NFL. I started like looking into Terrell Owens, because I played wide receiver. Like people said, you should play wide receiver. I was like, oh really? It was like, yeah, you got the height, you got the length, you got the speed. They're like, you're pretty fast. It's like you should play wide receiver. I was like, okay, cool. Basketball was my thing. Basketball was my main sport. So yeah, I wish that I played it when I was younger. Maybe like a kid, or maybe even middle school. And I also I guess you could just say I wish that I had a coach that actually cared. Like all my coaches throughout high school, pretty much all of them, besides one coach in high school. His name was Coach Mike Montgomery. That was my coach at Thompson High School in Alabama, Alabaster, Alabama. Outside of all my other coaches, they all sucked. They all were terrible coaches. They didn't care about developing players. They just, players that were already developed and that were already good, they just put them in there in the game and had them play, taught them the plays, went over the plays with them. Everybody else, they were just on the team, just to practice on. I hardly even practiced. I hardly even got reps during practice. I was the 3s or the 4s, and I hardly even got any reps. It was just wasting my time. Like I was just in there just to be there. So that's why so many coaches are terrible coaches, man. There's so many guys who really has the heart to play this game, and they don't get developed. The coaches don't spend time on developing them. In high school or in middle school, like that's the perfect time to really develop a player. And I had a lot of heart. I just didn't understand. I didn't understand anything. So when I actually didn't start really training hard until like I actually graduated out of high school. Really, like my senior year, that's when I really started like really pushing to be better. I'm like, you know what, man? I'm graduating out of high school now, and I still want to play football. And I said to myself, but I'm really going to have to work really hard because I have no tape. I have no film. And so I studied the game obsessively, and I trained obsessively. I tried doing it in high school, but for some reason I didn't really become obsessed about football until I graduated out of high school. And why? I don't know. And I think because I still wanted to play. And then I knew what the stakes were. I knew what I had to show to college coaches for me to play. I knew it wasn't just going to be like, you just on the team. You gotta really work. And I always wanted to go to the NFL. Like I told myself when I first started playing football, when I was 14 years old, my first day on practice in summer camp, I said, I'm going to dedicate my entire life to go to the NFL, and I'm going to give myself to 25. If I don't make it to the NFL by the time I turn 25, I got to pursue something else. But, I trained when I was in high school. I didn't train with like a bloodthirsty, psychopathic obsession like I did when I got out of high school. I didn't do that. I didn't when I was out of high school. I didn't train like that while I was in high school, and I wish I did. I wish I did, because I probably would have more than likely definitely done something different. But it was just I was underdeveloped. My mind was underdeveloped. I didn't know. I didn't start really studying how to train and all that until I got out. But it's whatever now. I mean, but that's why I'm into coaching now. But with that being said, when I was in college, I started training with other players. I started training with other professional players and players who had played. D1 athletes, players who got out of the league. I was training with them, and I was holding my own against them. I started studying the game more, and I started like understanding it more, and I switched to cornerback, and I started studying Darrelle Revis more and everything. And even when I was in high school, like my junior and senior year in high school, when I was playing wide receiver, I started to, and this was like probably like the biggest regret that I've ever had in my life. I started to freaking, like I started getting really better at wide receiver. I was starting to develop, and then all of a sudden I freaking switched. And this is funny. My coach, my wide receiver coach, he actually had me with the twos. I wasn't starting, but when my junior year in high school in Thompson, Alabaster, I was still playing wide receiver. He had me with the twos, and he had me practicing with the twos. I made the most dumbest decision. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, I still wasn't really getting it, I made the dumbest decision to switch from wide receiver to cornerback. That set me all the way back to where I first started playing football. It set me all the way back. And so my wide receiver coach, he didn't like that. He was like, well, if you want to play cornerback, okay, go ahead. You got to go talk to the cornerback coach. See if you can play corner. You start practicing with them. He switched me. The cornerback coach took me as a corner. I damn sure wasn't practicing with him. I wasn't practicing with him. I was sitting on the sidelines, watching them play. Never got a shot. I regret that to this day, that why I did that. And if I would have just stuck with it, because the ones who were in front of me, they were seniors. They were seniors, really good wide receivers. And I was primed to start after they graduated my senior year. And I did not, because I switched positions. So, I don't know, maybe it just wasn't meant. Maybe it just wasn't meant. But, and I see Travis Hunter, I'm like, maybe I could have, went both ways, did corner and wide receiver. Play both sides, But, it's whatever. Everything happens for a reason, and if we talk about regrets, that's more than likely my biggest regret. And I don't want to get too much deep into this. I mean, I've spent more time on this than I wanted to. This can just be another video, really, talk more about this. But yeah, that was just a little story. But I said all that to say, man, I went too deep on that. But just talking about, it's like how some players, how I just don't understand how they make it into the league, some of these guys. I mean, you do the dumbest thing, and then when you tip the ball, bro, you tip it, you bat it down. It's a Hail Mary pass. You always, even if it wasn't a Hail Mary pass, you bat the ball down, bro. You don't tip the ball in the air. What kind of nonsense is that? You're not a defensive tackle to tip the ball in the air. You're trying to block the ball from getting, you tip it, to give your team a chance to catch the interceptions and block the pass. You always block the ball, bat the ball down, bro. Especially at a damn Hail Mary. Man. That's why I'm saying, it's like, gosh, man. And some of these guys, I don't think they put that much work in to get in. There's just some of them are very fortunate to be in the pros. If you're skillful throughout your entire life, you're very athletic. Coaches are going to play you in high school if you're very athletic. If you're very fast, they're going to put you in high school. They're like, you're fast, you're athletic. I do that in my little league. I'm kind of guilty of it as well. Like the kids that are faster than other kids, I play them at running back. Switch right, switch left. Whatever. But I change that up now because I remember how I was treated. And if you really spend time on a kid and really spend time on his development and really say the right things to him, it's amazing how you can get a kid or a player to do something beyond what he thought that he was capable of doing. I mean, that's what coaching is all about, getting guys to do things to reach their highest potential, to recognize their greatest potential. having them be confident, developing them. Football is a developmental game. So, I mean, like some of these guys, athletic, they probably just skipped on through. There was athletic, so they played in high school, got some tape. When they wanted to keep going, they're athletic. College will pick them up. College will pick you up. You're playing in college, you're pretty much going to get a shot in the NFL. You're still athletic, you're going to get a shot in the NFL. There you go. You got some tape, you played, boom. So it's kind of how it goes, I mean, really, if you don't have any tape, you're kind of doomed. You're doomed, pretty much. So that's that. And I mean, and I don't want to call out, I don't want to keep calling out people, but like Anthony Richardson, I mean, it kind of bothered me when he said he was tired. I'm like, bro, I'm an Anthony Richardson fan, actually, and I wrote about him last year. I talked about him, like, I wrote an article saying, like, I think that he can be a really great player, and I think he can be a really great player, especially under Shane Steichen, and I talked about it in my previous videos, and he's not looking like it. Now, he's not looking terrible. He's not looking like the worst quarterback in the league. I think freaking Aaron Rodgers is playing worse than Anthony Richardson, or freaking, who else I think is probably playing worse than Anthony Richardson? Bo Nix at the time, too. And who else? Who else do I think probably was playing? I can't think. But, quarterbacks like Daniel Jones, he's playing worse than Anthony Richardson. But he's not like looking terrible. But he's not looking good either, And so yeah. But you say you're tired and you check out. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, bro, my training didn't start. When I talk about like I was obsessed and a psychopathic, when I got out of high school, my training didn't start until I was tired. I didn't count me training until I started getting tired. I worked on conditioning a lot. I worked on my speed a lot too. And what I did was so I can still be extremely fast and athletic and be very conditioned. What I did was I mixed up the drills so I can also be conditioned as well. Because I didn't want to ever check out, and I always wanted to be able to keep going at full speed every single play. So I trained really hard, and I even bought the elevation mask, and I bought a weight suit, and I will always train in that so I can just train my body to go withstand a lot of weight and gravity on me. So I did a lot of different things. I was so creative with my training and my workouts. I just started designing my own workout regimen, and I took some stuff from Darrelle Revis. I took some stuff from a lot of players, a lot of great players. I took a lot of their stuff, and I studied Revis like a book, But like I said, I didn't start getting developed until it was too late. It was just too late for me, So, but I hear Anthony Richardson say stuff like he's tired. I'm just thinking in my mind, like, are you serious? Like I said, I mean, I never played in pros, so what a pro can always say is you never played in NFL, you don't know. That's what they can always say to you. And you're right, I don't know, but I do know football, and I do know how much it takes to be a great player. And I do know how much it takes for you to be conditioned and for you to develop and get better. I do know that much. I have an idea at least, and just from watching the greats, studying them, I do believe that I do have the confidence that I can play in the league. And I know one thing is that what separates a lot of the players from other players in the NFL is confidence. Mental toughness, mentality, and I know I'm very highly confident, and I'm very mental tough. Like the things I do right now, you gotta be confident, mental tough to do the things that I do, So, like I say, I want to be a trillionaire. You gotta be mentally tough to do that. You gotta be extremely confident to even believe that you can be a multi-trillionaire. So, maybe I do have a little bit of idea of it. I know what it takes to be a great person, and I know what it takes to be a master. And I know what it takes to develop and to keep getting better. in everything you do, at least 1% every single day. You do know how much it takes for that. So, but anyway, moving on. So I said the Bears was going to beat the Commanders 27-22, and I was right on who won. No, I was wrong. I still want the Bears to have beat the Commanders. They should have won. They had the game won. They had me right for a second. And that damn play that. I think his name is Tavon Washington or something like that, but whatever. I don't want to talk about it that much anymore. The Commanders won 18-15. So I was wrong. So yeah. So my record for Week 8 right now is 9-3. Still good winning record. Broncos Panthers. I said the Broncos was going to beat the Panthers 20-10, and the Broncos did beat the Panthers. And I was pretty close on this one. I was pretty close. I was off by a touchdown for the Broncos and off by 4 points for the Panthers. So the Panthers put up 14 points surprisingly, and the Broncos beat them 28-14. So their Broncos offense is coming alive a little bit. So I was right on that one. And then we got the Chiefs and the Raiders. So I said the Chiefs was going to blow out the Raiders 22-0. And what was the score? The Raiders put up a little bit of points, huh? So the Raiders, so the score was 27-20. The Chiefs, they won by a touchdown. And the Raiders put up a hell of a lot more points than what I thought they were going to put up. I did hear about a goal line withstand. I didn't watch all that game. I only watched it up to the first quarter. That's another game I have to watch. I have to watch a lot of these games. But Chiefs still won. I was still right. I was pretty much, totally off on the score. Sort of close on the Chiefs, but yeah. So yeah, it was 11. My record right now 11-3. 11 games right so far, 3 wrong. And then we got Sunday Night Football, Cowboys 49ers. That game was okay, man. It was all right. It was kind of boring a little bit. It was kind of off. Both teams are hurting right now. Both teams are Cowboys are definitely hurting, definitely struggling. The 49ers, they're prevailing. They're prevailing with all their struggles right now. The 49ers are still, they're getting through it, finding ways to win, I predicted the 49ers to win 26-25. And I gotta say, man, Brock Purdy, he's pretty solid. Like he's a pretty good quarterback. He's not top 5, but I definitely think he's top 10. I definitely think Brock Purdy's top 10. And if I can think of 10 quarterbacks that's better than Brock Purdy, I don't know if I can. Let me see. I would put Jared Goff over Brock Purdy. I will put Matthew Stafford over Brock Purdy. Would I put Geno Smith over Brock Purdy? I don't think I would. No, I would not. So I wouldn't put Geno over Brock Purdy, but I would put Jared Goff. I would put Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, obviously, Joe Burrow, yes. But hold on. I don't even know if I would put Joe Burrow over Brock Purdy. No, you're talking about pass, and I have to look at their passing. The passing placement, the accuracy, the deep throws. Really dissect. You know what I'm saying? How they play the game. But I think Brock Purdy is kind of a better decision maker than Joe Burrow slightly. I think he is a little bit. I have to look deeper into that. But that's my thing about Joe Burrow. Like, Brock Purdy has done just as much as what Joe Burrow has done. Kind of actually more, because he was actually in the MVP rankings last year. Joe Burrow has never been in the MVP rankings, ever. So I'm gonna take Joe Burrow out for now. They're kind of like in between. And even with Jared Goff, maybe I don't know. Like, this is them 3, man. I have to think about it. Really, them 4, because I have to think about Dak Prescott too. This year, yeah, Brock Purdy's better than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's having a very off year, but all the other years, Dak Prescott, they're kind of like all like right there, But one thing that's Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow, and Jared Goff has done that Dak Prescott hasn't done. They went to the Super Bowl plus AFC NFC Championship. So, yeah. But anyway, let's move on. So, I will have to think about that. That'll have to be another video. 10 quarterbacks that I think could be better than Brock Purdy. So if Brock Purdy is actually a top 10 quarterback. But anyway, I said the 49ers was going to beat the Cowboys 26-25. I was right about the team winning. I was wrong about the score. The 49ers beat the Dallas Cowboys 30-24. They beat them by 6 points. So I thought the game was going to be a lot more closer than what it was. And it was not. And I don't know why. Because the Cowboys offense is terrible. The only good thing about the Cowboys offense is CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb, I mean, he finds ways, open space to get open, but he's not even all that good of a route runner, really. You know, he's in the slot, and you know, in the slot, you know, you should have more routes and more routes to your route tree and everything, but CeeDee Lamb cannot even run routes really. He's not even all that good of a route runner. You know, he's never been, but I mean, he knows how to get it open, you know, and stuff. But anyway, the Cowboys are done. They're not going nowhere. They're not going anywhere. And I think they're going to lose this game too. I think they're playing against the Falcons. That's a loss. So Monday Night Football. It was a kind of an interesting game. I mean, it's kind of cool watching the Steelers play because Russell Wilson is one of those quarterbacks that I get on you guys for, you know, like the addition of Justin Herbert. I get on you guys for talking bad about, you know, for thinking that he's not a good quarterback, thinking that has slacked off or he's not good or whatever. And he is. Russell Wilson has not lost a step. You know, he was kind of off a little bit his last couple of years with Seattle. But it happens. He wasn't playing bad. It was just a little slump, a little struggle. You know, look at Patrick Mahomes. He's struggling. I don't see anybody knocking him. You know, Russell Wilson been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1. And he's lost 1 to the GOAT, Tom Brady. So, Russell Wilson could have easily probably had 2 Super Bowls because they almost beat him. That goal line, that was a miraculous defensive play. I think it was more of a better defensive play than everybody talking, than the stupidity that people try to knock the Seahawks for not running the ball. Marshawn Lynch was stuffed 3 times when they tried to run the ball in the end zone, and it didn't happen. What makes you think that he would have gotten the 4th time? They tried running the ball different times, and he didn't get in. He didn't get in. He wasn't able to get it in. The play wasn't even that bad of a play. The offensive call wasn't bad. It was a hell of a defensive play. It's better to place blame than give credit. Give more credit to Malcolm Butler for making that hell of a defensive play than knocking the Seahawks for passing the ball. You know, I just hate when people, they look at the moment and it happened and they just all of a sudden go, oh yeah, you were stupid for doing that. You're dumb. You should not have done it. Well, if they would have scored, nobody would have been saying anything. This is what irritates me about people who does that, about you people. That's what irritates me. It was a hell of a defensive play. End of story. That's it. They did try running, and it didn't happen. End of story. If Malcolm Butler was a second late, he would not have made that play. So just chill. Just shut up on that. But yeah. But look, Russell Wilson is playing great. I've written about this last year. Going into last year when the Broncos got Sean Payton, I talked about it. I was like, yo, Russell Wilson is going to silence you haters. I will show you that article. I will do another video. You know, and I talked about it going into this season. I was saying, yo, Russell Wilson is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has a great coach. He has a coach that believes in him. He's a coach that's not going to call him out, throw him under the bus like Sean Payton. I didn't know Sean Payton was going to be doing all that. You know, and I was like, he's going to a culture that knows how to win. He's going to a coach that knows how to win. He has a really good wide receiver in George Pickens. He has a pretty solid running back, Najee Harris. he has a great defense, something that he's always look what Russell Wilson does if you got a coach that knows complementary football. Last time he had that, he won a Super Bowl, went to one. Pete Carroll, it was complementary football. He has Mike Tomlin. It's going to be nothing else different. If the Chargers didn't have Jim Harbaugh, I would have been saying it's going to be the Steelers. Well, I got the Chiefs as number 2 under the Chargers, like my backup. But the Steelers is right there too, baby. The Steelers is right there. So I might have to do a video on that, my backup Super Bowl predictions. Like I just said that, I said that earlier. I'm gonna have to look into that because I forgot about the Steelers. The Steelers can match up very well against the Chiefs. So. But yeah, I told y'all, man. I'm not surprised at all about what Russell Wilson is doing. I'm not surprised. I was big on Russell Wilson since he got drafted. He's a great quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think he's first ballot. And so. I mean, if you really think about it, he's done just as much as Aaron Rodgers. He's done more than Aaron Rodgers. At least he's been to 2 Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers has been the one and one only. And he racks up his little stats board for him to get a few MVPs. But he has been to only 1 Super Bowl. So Pittsburgh Steelers, I was right. I was right about this. I was right about the win. I was a little wrong on the score. I said the Steelers was going to beat the Giants 30-7. They beat the Giants 26-18. So, it's not bad. I mean, so what was? Let's see what we got. So my record is 13-3. Let's look at the recap of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Giants. Let's look at the stats a little bit, what Russell Wilson did. Russell Wilson was extremely efficient. He was 20 of 28 for 278 yards and 1 TD. Quarterback rating of 114.9. That's phenomenal. Najee Harris, 19 rushes, 114 yards. Jaylen Warren, 9 rushes, 46 yards. George Pickens was 4 catches, 74 yards. He should have had that touchdown. They caught that touchdown back. So really, Russell Wilson could have had 2 TDs. I saw there was actually 2 touchdowns that they caught back. So Russell Wilson could have had 3 touchdowns for that game. Calvin Austin, he did a great job. Calvin Austin III did a phenomenal job. 3 catches, 54 yards, a receiving touchdown. Plus, he had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Beanie Bishop had a hell of a play at the end of the game to end the game for a game pick. I think, did he have 2 interceptions? Yeah, 1 pick. Okay. Oh, Peyton Wilson. That's a really great linebacker. I talk a little bit about him, but I talked about him. I did a scouting report on Peyton Wilson. I think he's playing very, very well ball this year. He was actually one of my sleepers linebackers. I think he's going to be a really great player. Peyton Wilson. He's from North Carolina State. He was drafted in 2024, 3rd round by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I took a scouting course earlier this year, and I did some scouting on him. Yeah, but he's somebody to probably look out for, Peyton Wilson. But I think that's it. And this video was pretty long. I think this is actually my longest video that I've ever made on this channel. 1 hour and 9 minutes. Because I was telling all those stories. I'll go deeper into them or refresh, do a little refresher, and like just do some videos specifically for those, towards those stories. You know, I get a little passionate sometimes, and I start talking about, you know, what happened, you know, my experience with football. But hey, if you made it this far through this video, I really appreciate it. You know, let me know what you think. Give me your comments, you know, your suggestions, your opinions, you know, things that you think I can do and say, or, you know, for that can make this channel much better. And that's my goal. I want my channel, I want everything to be better. I want everything to be more developed every single day. And I'm going to do much better on putting out more content daily. I know I keep saying that, and I need to be authentic with that, and I will. It's no excuse, you know, but I do a lot of writing. I write about my brands, my businesses, and I run 2 YouTube channels and stuff. So, you know, I'm time blocking, and I'm figuring out how to get it all out there. But hey, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for your support. My 15 subscribers, every single last one of y'all who have subscribed, 15 of you. I greatly appreciate you, and I'm listening ear. I am for you. Like, this is 15 million subscribers. That's the approach that I'm taking. It starts with you, and you're subscribed to this channel for a reason. And so I understand that, and I want to make your time, you know, valuable while you're listening to this channel. I want this channel to be as valuable as possible. You know, valuable information, valuable content, quality information. So thank you again. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Give me your opinions, your thoughts. Don't hold back. You don't got to be respectful. I don't care. You're here for a reason, and you're commenting for a reason. I take it as a plus, you know. So no hard feelings. I'm not going to be in my feelings. Let me know. So, hey, so we'll be back soon. I'm actually going to do another video today. Actually, next, probably, it's 2 o'clock. It's Thursday Night Football. 5:15, I believe, 5:15 Pacific time. So I'm actually got to do another video like in the next hour or so. So look out for that. Look out for my prediction for Thursday Night Football. Tonight is what, the Falcons. What was it? Oh man, it was the, let's see. I think it's the Cowboys and the Falcons, I believe. Let me see real quick. See here. Oh, I was way off. We got the Houston Texans against the New York Jets. That's tonight on Amazon Prime. So look out for that game. I guess look out for that game. I don't know. Look out for my predictions. I'm giving you my predictions on that one. And that game probably more likely it's going to be boring. I mean, maybe it won't, you know, because you never know when you get out of Jets. They got enough personnel to play well, so it could be kind of interesting. And I think everybody probably could be watching just to see the Jets fail. So it probably much could be an entertaining game. And then it's always entertaining to watch Aaron Rodgers. That's one thing about Aaron Rodgers. He's so entertaining. You know, he's always coming up with something every week. He's like Jerry Jones. He's probably like a younger version of Jerry Jones. And Jerry Jones is probably like an older version of Aaron Rodgers. The only thing I would say, though, Aaron Rodgers is more peaceful than Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, you know, he got a little fire under him. He got a little fire under his belt, you know. But they pretty much both egomaniacs, just egomaniacs in their own way. You know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I love you all. Appreciate you all. We'll be back very soon, all day.